All right. Okay, welcome back to the Female Health Solution podcast. Today, Erica is with us and she's going to give us a little background and then ask her question.
Hi. So I'm almost 2 years postpartum and I can't afford the hormone test just yet, but I do have a 3 centimeter fibroid that was just found. So I want to know some tips or where I can even start taking care of myself with this.
Okay. Yes. Really good question. A couple of follow-ups on this. Have you ever had fibroids before?
No,
Okay. All right. So this is brand new.
this is brand new and it is causing me pain. I'm having to really advocate for myself because the doctors are telling me this is too small. It can't be why you're in pain. And I've been off of birth control for about 4 years now, charting my cycle. And that's their only fix is like, well, you need to get back on birth control. And I'm not interested in that. I want to know what's going on.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. That's just, sorry, I'm making faces because that just infuriates me.
I was really upset at that appointment because she just kept saying, well, there's this one, there's this one. I said, I've tried all of those. I've been on birth control since I was 15. I'm not interested. And she's like, well, you don't seem like you want to get better. I was very shocked and just really disappointed leaving that appointment because I'm paying them, you know?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well, disappointed and rightfully so, right? Like that's okay. Well, and like you're there to get better. Like, of course,
Yeah,
why?
I'm here because I want to, not just give me another pill to like
Yes.
conceal, you know?
Yeah. Yes. And this is part of like what got me started in this work overall is I had a doc when I had ovarian cysts that burst, and he was like, "Oh, well, just here's your birth control forever." And I was like, "I get side effects. Like, what else do you got?" And he's like, "Well, just keep getting pregnant."
Like neither for me. That's not going to work. Yeah.
No, like I don't like I'm sorry, sir. No, no,
Hmm.
no. Like there's no other option, no other suggestion. No. Oh, okay. Whew, I'm gonna start sweating soon.
That was
Um,
me at my appointment.
yes, yes. So, okay, so a 3 centimeter cyst, and just so you know, it's not about the size of the cyst, right? And this is the other thing when we talk about the female anatomy and endocrine organs and everything else. It's not designed to like make room for other things that shouldn't be there,
Yeah.
like a fibroid. Like I don't care if it's 3 centimeters. Oh, it's only this big. Really? Because if this was shoved up your nose, I'm pretty sure you'd feel it and
You
it wouldn't
feel
be
it. Yes,
comfortable. Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Hmm.
And that fibroid can also have other adhesions or things around it. Those adhesions can be interfering with other things. Like oftentimes you can feel more pressure when your bladder is full or when you have to go to the bathroom, right?
I'm
Yeah.
in pain and my periods since having my last baby have been completely different and just getting worse. They're not getting better. They're very, very heavy and very painful. And they're like, well, just start taking ibuprofen a couple days before you start.
Okay, so then what happens? Because if they're getting worse, then what happens when that doesn't help
Doesn't work
at
anymore.
all?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
Hmm.
not a solution. Okay, so yeah, that's okay. That's just ridiculous that they, in my opinion, that's ridiculous that they say that to you. But I know it's super, super common. Okay, so the human body is amazing, and as long as you give it the opportunity to repair, to shift and change internally, it can. So you don't always have to have a fibroid. Like I've worked with women that when we work on flushing out estrogens and things like that, their fibroids do get smaller.
Hmm.
So that's an absolute possibility. And the two things that I think about when we work on flushing things out, because again, if you've had multiple kids, right, and you're a busy mom, all that
Yes.
stuff, we want to keep both of your pathways open. The pathways are the water soluble pathway and the fat soluble pathway. So
Okay.
water soluble, making sure that you're doing lymphatic drainage. That can be dry brushing, right? Regularly, rebounding, just something where you get that lymph moving and sweating.
Okay.
That's really, really important. And that's easy to do. I mean, you can do that 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, just whoosh. That's
Mhm.
really, really good. And then the fat soluble pathway is liver and gut. So doing things that make sure that your liver and gut are functioning well, even little things like apple cider vinegar in your water is really helpful.
Mhm.
And then for the hormone regulation piece of it, have you done any seed cycling?
I've not done seed cycling, and that initial appointment that I went to, I was asking them to give me some sort of hormone test, and they were telling me that they're not interested. It doesn't matter. We'll get you on a birth control with estrogen. And I said, well, how do you know it doesn't matter if you don't know where my estrogen levels are? And they didn't have an answer for that. Like I did my homework before I went to that appointment.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Oh my, like exactly. Thank you. Exactly. How do you know if this is really going to help me if you're not even checking in the first place to where things are at?
Mhm.
Fibroids are usually a result of estrogen dominance, right? Having that
Yes.
excess estrogen in your system, so you're not flushing it out. Some people do like a dim or dim sulforaphane calcium D-glucarate. Those are things that can help with the estrogen pathway, just depending. Sometimes it like we'd have to see your pathways to know if those would be for
Mhm.
sure the right fit for you. But seed cycling can be really, really helpful. So seed cycling is using pumpkin and flax during days 1 through 14 of the cycle, and then sesame and sunflower days 15 through 28. And you just use 1 tablespoon of each, grind it up, and you can put it in a smoothie, you can put it in foods, what a salad, whatever. But the micronutrients in it, the nutrients in those seeds actually target different pathways to help move estrogens out. So the
Okay.
pumpkin and flax help a ton with certain estrogen pathways. And then you switch over to the sesame and sunflower, and those are different estrogen pathways. So you're just getting a little bit of assistance, a little bit of a boost.
Mhm.
The methylation piece, which is usually an issue postpartum for a lot of women, we are looking at um, broccoli sprouts.
Okay.
So those are, I mean, these are just like things that you can do in your kitchen on a regular basis.
Yes.
Broccoli
Yes.
sprouts are fantastic for methylation. It would be, I usually eat them on a sandwich
Yeah. Yeah.
or on
Exactly.
eggs or something because they're kind of,
They're not terrible. Nobody else in my family likes them, but
yeah,
I do. If I'm having a sandwich, I can throw those in there and they're not too bad.
yes, yeah. And I would like, if you can be like, eat them every day for 3 months.
Okay.
Because that's another question I get is how long do these things take, or what's the duration I would have to do these things? Look at 3 months. Look at a 3 month
Okay.
time frame, nothing less. Because if this fibroid issue and the pain and everything that you're having, like kind of write things down now, mark things now, like where you're at pain wise, everything else, and
Hmm.
then just go through this process for 3 months. And then in
Okay.
3 months, do another reassessment. Okay, what is my pain now? What is my cycle regularity? How heavy is it? How am I feeling? Because it just, that's the time frame for the female cycle. It's 12 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. And my cycle has always been very normal. Like I know when I'm
Okay.
ovulating, I know when my period's coming within a couple of days. So like the irregular cycle, thankfully, has never been a problem for me, but it's just the symptoms throughout my cycle.
Yeah. Are so terrible. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. And those are, again, those are
Yeah.
textbook estrogen dominance,
Hmm.
right? Ones where, yeah. So it's going to be everything flushing out estrogens and really keeping that going. So the
Okay.
seed cycling, broccoli sprouts, and then the other thing, I have a line of tinctures that also help flush out those estrogens and progesterone. So they're estrobalance and progesterone tinctures that you do with the seed cycling, and they help process the estrogens and then also help regulate your progesterone. Because with the estrogen dominance piece of it, that progesterone sometimes has a hard time catching up and being strong enough to keep the estrogen in check. So that's what we want to work on, both aspects of it.
And my progesterone is probably wonky right now because I'm at the end of my breastfeeding.
Yes.
I like it's maybe 1 or 2 feed a day, and it's mostly like a comfort feed at this point. So my milk supply is it's there, but nothing at the same time, you know? So
Yeah.
does that does affect my progesterone levels, right?
It can. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. So yeah, so the tinctures and things too, those would be the top three things that I would do.
Okay.
Like the seed cycling, be really consistent with it. The sulforaphane piece of it, really consistent with that in the kitchen. And then the tinctures,
Okay.
along with the, sorry, I guess four things, the lymphatic drainage and everything else, like
Yes,
the
and the dry brush.
dry brush. So make sure those pathways are open and then give yourself enough time. Again, biggest mistake I see is that people do something for 3 weeks and they're like, well, I don't know.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or my period wasn't better the next one. It's probably not going to be. So,
Yes. Yeah.
you know,
Of
yeah.
course.
But yeah,
Fine.
but hopefully at the 3 month mark, you're like, okay, this feels different or the inflammation is down, that type of a thing. Yeah.
Great.
That's a great place to get started with and just move things in a better direction overall. Cause yeah.
Because so I have an appointment with my OB is basically like, sorry, can't help you. Your pain's not due to your fibroids. So they referred me back to my general doctor who I'm seeing on Monday. That's why this call is perfect timing because
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do for me as a general doctor when I feel like it's a lady issue, you know?
Yeah.
Um, do you have, what should I be asking them, or should I just be asking them to see a different OB because they're not helping me?
I mean, at this point, I mean, again, I totally feel what you're going through because I've had this exact same thing happen to me where I'm like, I don't want to walk in there and be a big bee to everybody and like, come on, take me
Yeah,
seriously. I'm not
exactly.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not here for fun. I'm here because I'm in
No.
pain and I can't
Hmm.
function because of it. Like, I have other
Yeah.
things to do. Ugh.
Yes.
Um, I mean, you do have to advocate for yourself. And if you're seeing somebody who says that no way that that pain is due to a fibroid, they're off their rocker. I,
Okay.
you know what, like, yeah, find somebody else. If you can get them to run the labs,
Hmm.
perfect. You know, that's, you're just looking for some type of benchmark lab work, all that stuff, especially if you're going to start some of these things like the seed cycling and tinctures and things like that,
Yes.
because then
Hmm.
you'll have something to go off of. Um,
Yes.
and again, I do love a urine test more than a blood test. So if you can
Okay.
get them to do either saliva or a urine test for hormone, that's better.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if nothing else, you can do a blood test, but mark what day it's at in your cycle. And then if when you retest again, you would want to make sure it's the same day. Like if you test on day
Okay.
10, test again on day
Go back.
10. Yup.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
it's equivalent, markers for that time frame later. Um, and it wouldn't be a bad idea just to make sure, because again, with fibroids and things like that, make sure you're getting your iron checked,
Okay.
right? Make sure you're not deficient there.
They checked for when I asked for a hormone test, they gave me a test for anemia and thyroid, which were both at normal range. And I don't know, because the only other thing that I'm thinking of is just getting the birth control pills, telling them that I'm taking them and not, and then say, hey, I'm back. You told me to do this. Like, 'cause I'm not really sure what else like to have them help me, you know?
Yeah, yes. No, it's a tough position to be in. I wouldn't like it's hard. Like, do I lie to them and say I'm gonna do this and then try and go back in and be like, nope, it didn't work for me. What else do you got? I mean, I would just tell them like they work for you, right?
Yeah.
Like you've
Mhm.
hired them. So to say, listen, I need these tests because I'm gathering data, I'm gathering information,
Mhm.
and I need to see this information on myself. And if they're unwilling to do that, like tell them like, okay, please mark down that you're unwilling to run the
Okay.
labs that I'm asking you to run. Please mark it
Okay.
down in my file because they can mark things down that you're like, oh, she's attention seeking for her fibroid problem, her supposed fibroid. Those things can be marked in your files and you not know about it unless you want to see your files.
Yes. Yes.
There's
Okay.
people who do that. And I have seen, gals that they're like, yeah, I this and this and this. And not it's only they find out later that stuff is marked in their file like that they're attention seeking or whatever, which is
That's
not
awful.
helpful for you. Like, but if you tell
No.
them, please mark in my file that you're refusing to run these
To
labs,
do a
and
hormone
then
test.
I'm also going
Yes.
to go see someone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
Nine times out of 10, they run the lab then.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm bringing on Monday.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. Good. Yeah. At least having some benchmark now. Give yourself that time frame. really go through and work on that. Of course, sleep, stress levels, which you've got kids, that's always a varied thing.
Yeah.
Those can impact this too, but if you're really routine over the next several months, it should make a really positive impact. And then again, test again if you can in another few months. That lets you see the numbers of your improvement too, which can be fun versus
Yeah.
just noticing, oh, I'm feeling better.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So is that helpful? Is that a good start?
Yes, this was really helpful and it just made me feel better about my appointment. I mean, not better that you've gone through it as well, but just that like I'm not alone in them not taking me serious.
Yeah. Yeah. I find that it's rare that women are taken seriously first go around where you're like, this is a problem. This is an issue,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sad.
So, yeah, but this is why it takes longer, more multiple doctor's appointments, all of those things to find the right provider that is going to listen to you,
Yes,
and really help give you the guidance that you need. So,
for sure.
yeah. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. And I know that this is probably going to help a lot of other gals who are in the exact same position that you are in. And yeah, thank you for your time today.
Yes, thank you. This was super, super helpful to me.
Good. All right. Well, let me know if there's anything else. And yeah, keep me posted on how it goes next
I
week for
will.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. All right. I will chat with you later. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.